What's up, YouTube? This your boy CJ63 is Awesome YT, aka Corey Johnson. And I'm here in my first video of Monday, October 13th, 2025. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about, Transformers stop motion projects and all that good stuff. I want to reassure you guys that Transformers at War is not canceled. I just have been thinking about doing other projects, Transformers related, because I've got more figures. And by the way, stay tuned, because tomorrow I might show you guys how my Transformers collection has grown. Obviously, we have the Transformers Tarn saga, which will be a three-parter. Obviously, the first part has already been released. The second part will be G-Haxus versus Tarn. I'm not going to go fully in depth and, spoil the whole thing. I'm just going to say that's what it's going to be. And then, the last part will be G-Haxus and Tarn versus the Autobots. And, again, I'm not going to spoil it and go fully in depth there, but, you'll just have to wait and find out. Currently, though, I'm also in the process of making a Transformers animated stop motion, which tomorrow you'll figure out why when I show you guys my collection. And I also kind of want to do an update about life. Recently, I have quit my job at the grocery store, because, well, I wouldn't necessarily say quit, I resigned. The right thing to do, put in a 2 weeks notice, put in a 2 weeks notice and, resign, so that way they can find someone to fill my position. But that's because I'm working at a fast food restaurant, that pays more money, and I want to get a full-time position there. And also recently, last Friday, I wrecked on my bike. Me and bikes, man, I tell you, basically, it feels like every 2 weeks, I end up wrecking on my bike, and I don't know why. It's crazy. And this is a brace. Keep that in mind. It's because I kind of sprained my right hand when I wrecked on my bike. So, yeah. Fun. I will also show you guys my Disney Pixar Cars diecast collection as well at some point, and maybe my Hot Wheels collection. I'm not fully 100% sure on that. And I'm also planning on doing more reviews, Transformers, some Lego. Yeah, you heard that right. Obviously Cars diecast, and let's see, maybe some Hot Wheels reviews as well. And if I get new figures, maybe unboxings and reviews. So yeah. Another thing I want to mention is my main goal for my Transformers collection is to get the rest of the Transformers Studio Series A6 Constructicons. I have Scrapper and Bone Crusher. I'm just, needing for my collection, but, wanting Scavenger, Mixmaster, Long Haul, and Hook. And all of the Constructicons have been released. And I am also focusing on Transformers 1. I have Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Starscream. I just need for my collection B-127, Sentinel Prime, Alita 1, and recently Arachnid and Alpha Trion have been available or they are available to pre-order on Amazon. So yeah. I think that's pretty cool, honestly. And then after that, I'll focus on whatever. Transformers Studio Series, anything that is not Bayverse. I'm talking Rise of the Beast, Bumblebee movie, Transformers 1, obviously Transformers the movie, and War for Cybertron and Devastation. That's right, Transformers Devastation obviously has figures in the Studio Series line, which you'll see in the collection tour video tomorrow. And then there's also Age of the Primes, the most recent Transformers toy line. There's also Transformers Legacy, can't forget that, and the War for Cybertron trilogy. Oh yeah, the War for Cybertron trilogy may be old news, but it's still a goated toy line in my opinion. I don't know about you guys. I mean, the show was alright, I guess, the series, but the figures were amazing, and I have a few War for Cybertron trilogy figures in my collection, so yeah. And on that note, I'm going to also do an updated voice actor reel video. Not of videos or projects I've done on my channel, but on other people's. Because obviously, I don't know if you guys have seen the playlist of projects I voice in, but obviously I voice in some Transformers projects. And I will spoil that because they've been released. I voice in Ben's Productions series called Transformers Survival. I voice Prowl and Blackout. And Knockout. Yes, that I do voice Knockout. In Transformers Deprivation by TF Concepts SM, I voice Cliff Jumper. And a few other projects he's done. I don't know. Let me just go through all the projects I've done, voice acting for, because it's a lot, and obviously, it's fan projects, and it's not just Transformers. There's more than just Transformers here, guys. But Transformers is the main one. Let's hope YouTube Shorts does not open as soon as I open YouTube. If it does, I swear on everything because it happens every time I open YouTube. I don't know why. It just happens. Right now I'm looking at a white screen. Hold on. Oh, never mind, it's loading in. Okay. And just gotta go to view channel and then playlist and go on from there. It's kind of a long and boring process. I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting. I have 16 total. Obviously, a few of them are the cast. There is the cast results for Transformers Survival. In episode 5 and episode 7, you'll hear my voice. In episode 7, I was Prowl. In episode 5, it was Blackout. Transformers Deprivation episode 1 was when I voiced Cliffjumper. Episode 9 for Transformers Survival, and episode 10, I believe it was Prowl and Blackout, give or take. The Welcome to Earth prequel for Ben's Productions, I voiced Prowl. Transformers Prime, Knockout, and Starscream versus Cliffjumper and RC by Ben's Productions, I also voiced Knockout. The Transformers The Battle for Cybertron by TF Concepts SM, I voiced Cliffjumper. Can't forget Mario Rod 2009. And Transformers The Hunt, I voiced Toyline. But I do the engineer's voice from Team Fortress 2. Yes, that's me. In Kirby's Dream Land Plush Edition 2 by Brock Awesome, I voice Gordo. And then in multiple Kirby's Kirby Plush Adventure, I voice Sword Kirby with Heavy's voice from Team Fortress 2. So, yeah, it's weird, but also interesting. And I'm sure there's more projects I've voiced in, but those are the ones that I was able to scavenge and find. There was one project where I voiced Perceptor, and then one where I voiced Acid Storm from Transformers. But I can't remember what the projects of those ones were, but one of them was canceled, unfortunately. Yeah. Actually, I think both of them were. Yeah, they were. It kind of sucks that some of the projects I voiced in, they were canceled, but the videos of my voice acting work were still posted. So, yeah. And then obviously, the projects I've done on my channel, every Transformers stop motion that I have done, I voice everyone. Believe it or not. I mean, that's the advantage of being a voice impressionist, is if you decide to do projects, you can voice the characters yourself. But on another note, I'm trying to think. I don't know. Oh yeah, I'm going to continue on the updates about my life, and whatnot. So, this is the second video where I've done an update about my life. I don't know, why I'm doing it, but I'm doing it for content, so, yeah. But at some point or another, when I save up enough money, I'm gonna go through driver's ed and get a driver's license, yada yada yada. Well, I could go on and on about talking about life, but I'd rather talk about, Transformers and whatnot. So, the reasons why I'm not spoiling the other two parts to the Tarn saga is because I don't know how exactly it's going to fully play out. I mean, I do, but I don't. And, obviously, the reason why I'm doing Tarn versus G-Hexus, actually, well, I mean, you'll figure it out once I get to that point, because right now I'm working on Transformers animated stop motion. Oh, And as promised in the past, I know I haven't kept my promise, but I am now. I'm going to be doing versus stop motions, like how Lumikin Studio did Optimus versus Prime versus Optimus Primal, Megatron versus Megatron versus Megatron, Starscream versus Starscream versus Waspinator, Ironhide versus Ironhide versus Rhinox, all that good stuff. I plan on doing basically the same thing, but, well, I have since got, 2 more Megatrons, since, I was going to do Megatron G1 versus Megatron Armada versus Megatron War for Cybertron, but I got 2 more Megatrons, and I want them all to fight. And I'm also going to do the same with the Optimus Primes, because I got quite a few Optimus Primes in my Transformers collection, believe it or not. And also because I know how to do voice effects thanks to Harry Alpha Scrapper, I can do the voices on my own. So, yeah. But that's about the gist of it. That's all I could really think of to talk about and whatnot. So, oh, I'll tell the story about how I wrecked on my bike as well. So, obviously, I was on my way to work, at the grocery store, the same job that I resigned from, and, I was hauling tail to work on my bike, and I wrecked near the school. Fun, right? Basically in front of everyone. Strangers, people I don't even know, because I live in a different town than the one that I used to live in, but I think that's pretty obvious. I don't know everybody except for the people I work with and my sister-in-law and her family. That's it. So I basically wrecked on my bike in front of complete strangers who probably got a kick out of it. But yeah, it's funny until you're the one that goes through it. Then it's not funny. It hurts like a son of a gun. But obviously it's not the first time I've wrecked on my bike or wrecked on a bike. As a matter of fact, it's happened pretty often here in the town that I live in. And it usually happens when I'm on my way to work. Sometimes it happens when I'm getting off of work, but I think that's obvious, But this is probably the worst that it's been so far, me getting a sprain. Let's hope it doesn't get any worse to the point where I end up with something broken and I gotta go to the hospital and pay an arm and a leg. Not literally. If I do it literally, there's a problem. I'll be like, oh, here's my arm and leg. If you know, you know. I mean, figuratively, obviously. But, yeah. Well, I mean literally in terms of finances. But not literally as in literally give my arm and leg. I'm not going to do that. I would still love to have my arm and leg. Thank you very much. Okay. But, yeah. And it was pretty instantaneous, but I think I hit like a big enough object or a bump just right to the point where I went flying. And thankfully I was wearing my hat, because from what it looked like I was going to land face first, and that's not good. If I wasn't wearing my hat, I probably would have ended up in the hospital that day. I probably would have ended up with some sort of head trauma because I hit the pavement pretty hard. I mean, if I ended up with a sprain, yeah, it was pretty hard. And obviously, this was the hat that I was wearing. You know, the bill on my hat saved my head. So, kind of a lifesaver, if you ask me. The only thing I walked away with head related was a headache. That's it. You know, so I'm pretty thankful that's all I walked away with in terms of my head. My hand, my right hand, my dominant hand, my eating hand, my writing hand did not get so lucky. I walked away with a sprain, and obviously you could see that. It was a lot worse. But, you know, over time it's healing. And the sad part is my right hand is still recovering from the last time I wrecked on my bike. Yeah. So, meaningless to say, my right hand has got the, how did Wheeljack put it in the Tarn Saga Part 1? The exhaust end of the stick twice. Yeah. I'm trying not to say swear words, even though my videos are marked not for kids, but kids still probably somehow end up seeing them for some reason. I don't know. YouTube is weird sometimes. I love YouTube, though. I may have said it's weird, but then again, why wouldn't I? You know, it's still really great. I mean, obviously, it gives me a reason to connect with you guys, you know, give you guys updates about my life, give you guys content that you may or may not want or care about. I don't care. I do whatever I want. On my end, if I want to make a video, oh, by all means, I'm going to make a video. So, if you engage with that video, that's up to you. You know, I always say at the end of my videos to like, comment, and subscribe. And some of you get that memo, some of you just completely ignore it. You know, and that's fine. I'm not saying you have to, but I mean, I try to make my channel very diverse in content. Diverse enough to the point where you could watch something you might like. But then again, I also need to engage in my community tab more often. I'm sorry, I know that I kind of don't, and I should. So, probably the next thing I'll do is ask you guys what kind of content you want me to do. Hopefully nothing that's life-threatening, because I'm not going to do something that gets me in trouble or in danger. For obvious reasons. I mean, Exhibit A, my right hand here, is a prime example. I already deal with that pretty much in my everyday life. So, yeah. But anyways, guys, that is it for me, though. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click or tap on that notification bell to never miss a video that I make. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace to the homies and homegirls out there that are watching this YouTube video.